Hola, welcome to a get ready with me where I just talk about life and what's on my mind. So the first thing I'm obviously gonna do is wet my beauty blenders. This is not a tutorial, but I'll be like walking you through my process as I talk. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up my sleeves and pull my hair back real quick just so it's out of my face. Okay. Now I have this e.l.f. primer. I'm just gonna use that in. I want to talk about getting into the things that really matter to you, regardless of, you know, what's going on in your life, your fears, whatever. Doing what really is exciting to you is so important. And I always think about how when I was a kid, if I want to do something, I'll just get the fuck up and do it. It would not be that serious. It would just be like, okay, I feel like doing this, I feel inspired to do this or create this, and I'll create it and I'll be the end of that, you know? But now I feel like it's this whole, I tried to put on color corrector. Okay, now it's like this whole process of oh my gosh. Okay, so what was I saying? I'd be getting caught up in the fuck I'm doing, so don't mind me. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I think it's really important to just follow your gut and do things that you feel like it's fun to you. Like, I feel like I always be overthinking, like, oh, the logistics of how is it gonna work out, blah, 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 blah. And I don't need to be figuring that out. Like, that's God's job. That's my higher self's job. That's not my job to figure out what's going on. It's really my job, like, acting on things and doing things. And, like, that is the way I can communicate with the universe, is through my actions. That's the way you communicate with people, is through your actions. I've really been getting into self-care the past few weeks, like, especially, like, I've always been in self-care. I literally, for my 10th birthday, had a spa birthday party. Like, that was the theme, because I'm just so into that. At the same time, there was phases where I just can't, and I still honestly struggle with being consistent with it. And my thing, what I really think it comes down to, is the fact that oh yeah, I was talking about self-care. There's moments where I'm like, I'm doing too much, or I just don't want to make time for it. Like, it's either that or that. And I feel like the reason you don't make time for things, or the reason you don't do anything, and the reason you do anything, is because whatever you're doing, you think, well, that's the best option for me to get where I want to be, you know? If that's what I think the best option, if that's what you gotta ask yourself, I'm like, you gotta ask yourself, okay,
have you ever had a dreams that you could,
why do I think this is the best option for me instead of doing things that I really feel like I want to do, things that I'm really passionate about? Why do I feel like, you know, giving into my fears is a safer or more beneficial option than acting on my passions, acting on my dreams? Like, and when I ask myself that, I'm like, okay, what am I really fucking scared of at the end of the day? What am I scared of? I don't know. I couldn't tell you guys. I couldn't tell you. Give me a second. Why do I think my fears are a better option? Why do I think my fears are a better option than my dreams? Okay, so then there has to be something in my dreams that's either worse, or there's something here that's better. Okay? So I'm like, all right, what is here that's better? What is in this version of my life that's better than my dream life? Okay, well, you gotta compare. Okay, what's the difference between my dream life and what's the difference between my real life? Bullet point 1, I want to be financially free. Okay, bullet point 2, okay, so then what about my life that I'm not financially free, that I prefer to be financially free? Okay, so for me, there's nothing that I don't prefer, but I'm scared of the risks that come with what it takes to become financially free, or what I believe the risks are associated with being financially free, you know? In all reality, those are not necessarily the risks, right? So you really want to ask yourself these questions. Okay, for the next one, boyfriend, right? Or romantic partner. Really, that just comes down to the right time. And that moves me on to my next fucking topic. People say success is when preparation meets opportunity. Okay, what does that mean? That means the same way I was telling you, you gotta list down, okay, what's the receipt of my life then and my life now, or my future desired life and my life right now, is the same way you gotta ask yourself, okay, what opportunities are gonna lead me to the life that I want, that I say I want, right? So for example, for financial freedom, a nice opportunity would be to find an investor for my startup, right? Okay. So now that's the opportunity. Now, how am I going to be prepared for that opportunity when it comes? Not if it comes, when it comes. How will I be prepared for the opportunity, right? You gotta ask yourself these questions. So there's so many things you could do, and I'm just gonna give examples because I feel like this is something that a lot of people are interested in, right? A lot of people want to start their own business. A lot of people want financial freedom. Some things to do would be to go to networking events, to make sure you have a good, pitch ready, a portfolio ready, all that kind of stuff. You gotta have the business plan ready, so when you get your investment, not if, that you are ready to receive it and ready to move forward with your business plans. You have so many things that you could do to be prepared for the opportunities that you really say you want. You gotta ask yourself these questions. Why am I not doing these things? What is holding me back from being the person that I imagine that I want to be? And I feel like the next step from that is like, okay, well, what is step one, and really just take it chunk by chunk, bit by bit, and be like, all right, what's step one? All right, well, step one maybe is to research some networking opportunities, events in your area, and attend those. Maybe step two will be to make sure your business plan is ready, to make sure your pitch is ready, to make sure your portfolio is ready, or whatever it might be. To have those things ready so that you are prepared for when those opportunities arrive. Another thing is to release all expectations. I feel like this is another key to getting all of your manifestations, to release all your expectations, because you don't really know. You don't really know that whether or not what you really want or what you think you want is what's really best for you, and your higher self and God is really who knows that factually. And when you're really in tune with yourself, I feel like you do know those kind of things, but if you're not, you don't know. You can have a picture of the life that you prefer, but to let go of any specific expectations so that you're not disappointed when or if that exact ideal reality that you wanted isn't there. Because you could be like, all right, well, who knows? Maybe it's going to lead you to something even better than you could possibly imagine. So after I do this, obviously you saw I did a second layer of concealer. My next step is to go in with some pressed powder, some loose powder. I just saw a thing that said it will help to mix them, so I'm going to see how well that's going to work. Okay. So, where's my little powder puff? Alright, so I'm going to take my little powder puff, very tiny. I'm going to take some loose powder. I have this Revolution banana powder. It's nothing crazy. Like, it works. I don't feel like there's flashback, but I don't know if it works well with the products that I have. So I'm going to take some of this powder. You see, it's not very well blended. Like, it's kind of rough on there. So if I put it on my skin right now, it will be all patchy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me. And what they did was they just pressed it onto there, rubbed it in on all those corners so that wherever I put it on my face, it's nice and good, right? I'm just going to do one pat on my skin to just get some excess powder off there. Okay. Oop, my makeup's not all the way blended. Give me a second. Okay, I did a little rose contour because I forgot. But we're gonna come back again. Powder looking up, because this is what all the girlies need to do. Now, I saw somebody say to make your eyes crease after that. And I'm like, do you hate me? Like, you don't even know me? And you're already like plotting on my demise. Okay, I did my waterline, so the next thing I'm going to do is some mascara. And if you know, I heated it up with some warm water first, so now it's all juicy. I really do my brows. I just usually do a little quick swoop. Oop. I usually do a quick swoop of mascara on the edge where it's a little more thin, and then I spoolie them out. And my hair covers my red ass. No, I forgot it. I'm going to my character. No, it's black liner. The thinnest line, no, it's okay. Super thin. Not super thin. Fine. I'm going to go over here. Bow. Bow. Okay. Now that I've done some black liner on the outside. Ooh. Okay, black liner on the outside. We're going to get some brown and red. I'm gonna use some red right here on the inside to bring some color back to my lips. You know, this stuff is mostly because I'm a smoker and my lips don't have a lot of color. So I'll just bring that right on back with a little bit of red. If this was just a little more pink, it would be perfect, but it's okay. It goes with the look. Now I'll take my brown lip liner, and I'm really glad you stuck around to the end of the video, and stay tuned for the next one because it's only getting better. I'm only getting better at this YouTube shit. I'm only getting more entertaining. And guys, like, it's just so fun to be on this journey with you. Let me know if there's anything you want to hear me talk about. And like, this video is not me talking from like an expert perspective. Like, I feel like, you know, everyone is a master, but at the same time nobody's a master. So I'm just sharing the knowledge that I have with you guys. Oh yeah, and I gotta put you guys on to Bashar. If you're spiritual or if you feel called, look into him. He goes by Daryl Inca, and he channels this guy named Bashar. It's a little similar to Abraham Hicks, if you've heard of Abraham Hicks. And yeah, look into it. I think you'll like it because he has the most profound advice. And honestly, here's a word of advice. Even if you're not open to new things, even if you're not super spiritual or into super otherworldly things, what I will say is, whoever you're hearing it from, take what you're hearing and hear it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, you know, don't worry about the messenger, worry about the message, and see what the message really does for you. And if the message does something for you, that's 1,000% more important than the messenger, you know. So think about it that way. And that's another thing that I have to think about as an artist, as a creator, and I really want you guys to think about, is that you are the artist. You're creating something. It's not for somebody else to understand. It's not for somebody else to understand. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't. And also, you're robbing people of the fucking experience because you're putting too much pressure on yourself and your ego and who you are, when really what matters is the creations you have to give. I mean, you matter too, but that's really, you're putting the pressure on yourself and not on the work. And you have to think about you. Anything that comes from you comes from your source, your creator. So just because you're scared of having a misinterpreted understanding of what source energy is to you or whatever, or you feel like you're not connected with God or source, that still doesn't mean you're not connected. You will always be connected until you die, and even until then you'll always be connected until infinity, because you're always gonna exist. Don't play with these bitches. Let me let you know right now, don't let these bitches play with you. Know who the fuck you are. Stand the fuck up. Be a bad bitch like who the fuck you are, like you know you are. And front on these hoes. And don't ever forget it, okay? And the final message I'm going to just leave you with is that every moment is precious. It is literally always now. So go ahead and fucking live your life. Go ahead and fucking live your life. Don't live it for nobody but you, because it's always now, and the only time is now. Don't say I'm doing it later, because you're really just doing it now. If you always have the mindset I'm doing it later, it's always gonna be later. It's always now, bitch. The time is now. Get the fuck up, do what the fuck you want to do, live an amazing life. I love you.